So we finally got a look at Microsoft's new indie game developed by Bethesda. A little weird considering the studio though. Aren't they too big for their games to still be called that? Yes, we finally got a look at the new Indiana Jones game, and it looks pretty neat. The scores are bumping, the whips are whipping, and the Wilhelm's Wilhelming. It looks like just about everything you'd want from an Indiana Jones game, complete with the voice of Harrison Ford. Wait, no, I'm sorry, that's actually Troy Baker, but might as well be. God damn, is he pulling that voice off. When I heard about this game, I just naturally assumed to be third person. I mean, of course the game is going to show off all of Ford's handsome polygons at every given opportunity, right? But no, the game is mostly first person. At first I was a little confused, but then I remembered Uncharted's a thing. 10 years ago, people were calling Uncharted an Indiana Jones knockoff. Fast forward, and now Indiana Jones is trying to figure out how to differentiate itself from the damn thing. Yes, we totally made the game first person so you could really feel like Indy, and not at all because of that other dude who's going through 40 near-death experiences a minute. But the game isn't entirely first person, it will also be using the third person perspective. There's a lot of games that let you switch the camera from first or third, allowing you to play the game entirely from either of these perspectives, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the titles that require you to use both at once, constantly shifting during moment-to-moment gameplay. And it got me thinking about how much I miss that gimmick. Of course, one of the best examples of this is the Metroid Prime games. I can't imagine how hard it must have been to pitch these games while trying to convince Nintendo that this wouldn't give you vertigo to the highest possible extent. But somehow it didn't, and the team did a great job of using a third-person camera when necessary and making for a great experience that felt familiar but also unique. Wasn't the case for some games though. The most infamous example of this I can remember is Alone in the Dark. No, not the one with Hopper. I'm talking about Alone in the Dark 2008. A terrible game through and through, but you can't say it wasn't ambitious. The game was a first and third person camera, but you had to use both to get around properly. First person for shooting, and third person for climbing and using melee weapons for some reason. Did it work? No, not really. But still, the strangeness of this control scheme is one of the things that makes it so memorable. Deus Ex Human Revolution is another title that implemented this shifting camera gimmick too, with movement and shooting being primarily in the first person, while talking with NPCs was in third.
I never asked for this.
And then you had a whole thing where taking cover would turn the game into Gears of War, going third person while you shoot. A good game, though I think this feature was a little questionable. It didn't really come off as clever, more so confused. Like the developers spent months arguing on whether or not to make the game first or third person, and then just shook hands and reached an agreement. Astrobot Rescue Mission, a PSVR exclusive title, technically falls under this category too. You play as a robot in first person, but control another robot in front of you in third, so you're playing as both at once. I'm getting nauseous just thinking about it. Overall, the first third person camera shtick might be a little messy, but it's pretty impressive, and I applaud studios for trying it. And it makes me happy to see this wonderful little gaming experiment still pop up. I'm sure the Great Circle isn't going to be as unique with using both these perspectives, and it'll probably just be for the climby bits or the jumping from exploding vehicle bits, though I wouldn't be mad if maybe they took some notes from Alone in the Dark, watching the camera shift to third person as Indy cracks the whip, first person every time he makes a sarcastic quip. Maybe the camera goes first and third person with every alternating step you take. I smell potential.